Hi, my name is Grace Clemens, and this is my first entry for the Harmonized Housing Project. What is the Harmonized Housing Project, you ask? Well, apparently the government has files on us. All of us. And it's compiled of everything from our internet history, our social media, what we do for work, the things we buy, our hobbies, pretty much any and all data they can collect on us. They put together and make a profile for each of us. And that profile can be used to determine if we're a threat, if we could be easily radicalized, if we could be convinced to someone they want, or in my case, if we'd be a good candidate for a top secret program. So basically I, alongside others, were summoned under the guise of jury duty, and we were asked a lot of odd questions to see if we would be chosen as jurors. Later on, I received the summons that I had in fact been selected for jury duty, but it was a high-profile government case, and so not only would we be sequestered, but there would be cars to come and pick us up. And this is where my spidey senses started tingling, because I know in some cases when it's like it goes on for a long time or it's a big deal, like you have to be kept at a hotel and you're not allowed to talk to anyone about the case, but I had never heard about anyone getting a car to the court case. But everything looked very official, and I called the number they provided in case we had any questions, and they reassured me that yes, in cases with very high government officials, it is standard. So when the black SUV with the very tinted windows pulled up to my house, I got in. So I don't know how detailed I should get, but basically I get into the car and I realize that that tint completely blacks out the view, so I can't see anything outside. And there is a partition between me and the driver. So the driver welcomes me into the car, introduces me to a woman who is already sitting in the car, and then the partition between us and the driver goes up, and I'm just trapped in a moving vehicle that I can't see out of with a stranger who I don't know who they are. And I just know that this car is not going where I was told it is supposed to be going. And so this woman starts talking to me. I have no idea who she is or what she's saying. She hands me some paperwork and starts going over things. And I'm just trying to figure out, like, okay, can I make a run for it as soon as this car stops moving? So eventually we reach our destination, the car stops, and it's at this point that the woman finally stops talking to me again. I don't know that I registered much of what she was saying. I know she said congratulations on being selected, which is weird because jury duty, who's excited about this? But the car door opens and all of a sudden there's like a burst of sunlight from the darkness. And so before I have time to even adjust, the driver is helping me out of the car, and then we are immediately flanked by two men in camo with guns. So needless to say, I did not make a run for it. So I'm escorted across a base? I don't know. There's like a bunch of big buildings, everything's surrounded by high fences that have barbed wire on it. There's towers that look like lookout towers. There's like big military looking vehicles. So in my mind, a base. Eventually escorted into a building where I do actually see some familiar faces, the other jurors who were selected. So now I'm like, is this actually just a top secret court case? It was not. So basically, our files that the government had compiled on each of us indicated we were intelligent, cool, open-minded, nice, not super grounded in reality. Okay, which meant we were perfect candidates for exposure to certain classified information. So aliens are real. But according to my file, I am perceived as delusional enough that if I ever came out with this information, no one would take me seriously. But even though I am perceived as woo-woo, I am grounded enough that I would be a good candidate for their integration program. So to get back to the original question, what is the Harmonized Housing Project? I have been selected and accepted the opportunity to live in a top secret gated community alongside intelligent extraterrestrial beings as part of an experiment to see how well human beings could handle this. Basically, it's to see how we handle both the thought of another intelligent species in concept, like how much this rocks our worldview / universe view, and then also like on a very physical, tangible level of like, can we interact with other intelligent beings in a cooperative way without trying to kill each other? And as part of the experiment, I have been asked to document weekly videos, so consider this entry number 1.